During the late 1950s and the early 1960s, the Ladybird picture books were a huge success and inspired a whole generation of young nature lovers.
More than 60 years later, the popular Four Seasons books have been updated so that they're more relevant to today's children and the natural world around them. Wendy Hurrell reports.
You're listening? In the woodland, the first green buds are starting to push their way up through the frosty ground. Early crocuses burst into purple petals and lesser celandines become delicate yellow stars. These are Ladybird books for the 21st century, republished with the same title as the vintage series in the 50s and 60s. They were pioneering little pocket books, especially for children, teaching them all about the natural world around them. They sold in their millions and are collector's items today. So they create a bit of nostalgia, even for the generations that followed.
Oh, look at it. It just brings back so many memories.
Absolutely. And I think that's the key, you know, they were so evocative for so many people. I mean, unfortunately, this is a little before my time, so this is kind of my parents' generation. You know, these acts is incredible now, I suppose, time capsules to what our country used to look like in terms of the natural history that was around us.
Red squirrels graced the front cover. They, along with wildcats, continue to decline. Animals that through hunting, habitat loss and competition from invasive species have dwindled and wouldn't easily be found by young nature spotters today.
Wow, look at all of that!
40% of all species in the UK have declined in the last 50 years. And of those declines, some of those numbers are extraordinary. So the turtle dove, for instance, would have been hugely numerous back in the 1960s. We now know that there's been a 95% decrease. Hedgehogs, they've actually suffered a very similar decline, around about 95% decline since the 1960s, or actually the 1970s until today. So it's only a space of about 50 years.
But after years of conservation, some native animals have made a comeback. The swoop and call of red kites is now more commonplace after years of extinction. Included in the new What to Look For books, grey seals. They have increased in number across the country since the 80s, with colonies thriving in Norfolk and Northumberland. 150 osprey chicks have fledged at Rutland Water in the East Midlands since being reintroduced by the Wildlife Trust at around the same time the Ladybird books were published. Bottlenose dolphins play in our waters, these ones just off Teesside's coast. And water voles now live in large number at places like Rainham Marshes on the Thames estuary.
The motivation that you'll get hopefully from these books would be to go outside and see if you can actually find and spot some of these things out in their natural environments. I've got 2 young children myself, and I've certainly found, you know, how refreshing that is to take a break from screen time or just being in the house full stop.
And of course, today's curious children are the future conservationists. Winter is coming to an end and spring is on its way. Come on. Wendy Hurrell, BBC News.